What is up, everybody? I'm going to be discussing my NFL Dark Horse MVP candidates for the 2025 season, switching more from the draft to more predictions for the 25 season, and of course, fantasy football content as I've started. Of course, we'll still do some 2026 evals and breakdowns. But yeah, I'm basically going to go through my list. And again, these are dark horses, people that no one will vote for before the season to win MVP. That's the whole point of this list of dark horses, right? And that's why I made that TikTok video. If you haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. We're going to be doing a Q&A here for the next 30, 40 minutes, and this will be up on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you check out my TikTok. If you're watching on TikTok, make sure you check out and sub to my YouTube because I'm trying to monetize there too. So I'm not just, monetizing on TikTok because IG is a lost cause. IG you can't even monetize on. So again, you'll see the full list here of the 12 guys I've selected, most of them quarterbacks, because it's almost impossible for a running back or a wide receiver to win NFL MVP or even be a dark horse for it, right? Like even Saquon last year with the season he had, it couldn't do it, right? So I have Bijan Robinson on this list, who I think is going to win Offensive Player of the Year, and the Falcons are going to win 11 plus games. But at the end of the day, there's only so much he can do because even if he has a historic year like Saquon, he's still not going to win MVP. It's a QB award, right? So that's the only issue there. But I'll start answering some questions once we get some more people on here. But yeah, yeah. So this kind of, I think Brock Purdy is one of the more disrespected players in the league. I mean, he was still seventh in QBR last year with everybody injured. I think Kyle Shanahan schemes him up well. They have the easiest schedule in football. If they win 11 games, he's a candidate for sure, a top tier one, because he finished third or fourth in MVP voting just a few seasons ago. And if it wasn't for that game against the Ravens where he threw three picks, he would have won MVP. I'm not saying it was the right decision or not. I'm just saying he's going to get votes. I think Christian McCaffrey should have won that year. I stand on it, not Lamar. Lamar had more of a chance last year and more of an argument last year. So again, this is kind of the list that I formulated, and don't be shy, ask some questions when you guys hop on about this list. And again, this will be up on YouTube right after. If you're watching on YouTube, check out my TikTok and vice versa. If you're checking out TikTok, make sure you're following me here. I love all of you guys, whether you agree, hate my content, or whatever. I appreciate discourse and talking about the game we love, regardless. Same thing to subbing on YouTube, so I appreciate that. But yeah, these are guys unequivocally that aren't favored to win MVP, right? Like none of these guys are going to look at and be like, okay, these are candidates to actually win the award. This is more dark horse MVP candidates, which is why there's guys like JJ McCarthy and Bryce Young, right? And Trevor Lawrence, right? So yeah, what are your thoughts on Bryce? I like the way he played last season, especially toward the second half of the season. Without a separator, there was really nobody on that offense that could separate at a high level. Legat's more of a yards after catch guy. And then we got, of course, Adam Thielen, who's about 40 years old, right? So they finally got McMillan. So they got a separator, a guy that has a big catch radius. I think that's going to help Bryce tremendously. And if the Panthers end up winning that division or making the playoffs, he could absolutely be in that conversation. The reason why I have Brock number one, though, is because he almost won the MVP 2 years ago, the last time the Niners had a good season. Now, I know Purdy gets a lot of hate. He is in a very good system. But at the end of the day, he was still seventh in QBR last season with everybody hurt. He was first in QBR 2 years ago, or second. He was first or second. Maybe Lamar was first, and that's why I won MVP. But he was one of the two. He finished fourth in MVP voting. Now he's going to have some weapons back. They have the easiest schedule in football. That's why he's at the top of the list here, because I think there's a legitimate shot for him to actually go and win MVP. I'm not saying I would vote for him if the Niners do have that type of season. I think McCaffrey should have won a few seasons ago, and I think that would be the same thing if they have that big year. But I'm just saying the QBs are going to get votes. Let me answer some of these questions. A quarterback who hasn't touched an NFL football and a running back. Yes. Yes. JJ McCarthy is like the easiest job in the world. He's throwing to Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, uh, obviously Justin Jefferson. Kevin O'Connell's one of the best play callers in the league. If Sam Darnold was in that conversation last year, JJ will be too. JJ is the easiest job in the world. Where's Shiloh Sanders at? That's funny. That's funny. Your top three would be Baker. Where's that question? Baker loves Stafford. Yeah, Stafford could absolutely win. Yeah, he Stafford is good, dude. Stafford's really good, but Purdy, I'm telling you, yeah, Brent is right. Gonna have the best season of his career, 100%, bro. Like most quarterbacks, like once they get paid, they kind of just like, okay, I'm paid, it's over. I think he always has a constant chip on his shoulder, and I think he has a good mentality, and that helps. Whereas like a Kyler Murray, he got paid. He was playing Call of Duty, wasn't that good. Sometimes he looks like a top three quarterback. Sometimes he looks like a bottom three quarterback. So Jared Goff also got paid, played very well. Goff, I think, is a legitimate candidate though, just because of what he did last year, and I think he finished top 10 in voting. So I didn't include him on this list for that reason. Nobody on this list was top 10 in MVP voting last year, I believe. Maybe Baker. Baker was like the closest because Baker had like 4,500 yards and 41 touchdowns. He had 16 picks, but that offense is ridiculous. And he's going to be out on the field more because I think their defense is really bad. So I think he's going to be in a shootout every week, similar to like kind of what Joe Burrow was doing last season, where he had like 47 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I mean, there was a legitimate argument last year that Joe Burrow should have been the MVP. 100%. I mean, if you're just looking at it from a pure football perspective, if they get into the playoffs and let's say the Broncos lose that last game or whatever scenario that needed to happen, I forgot who else needed to lose. But if they get in, I think he might win that MVP over Josh Allen. Justin Herbert, yeah, I could see it. I could see Justin Herbert. I just think, Harbaugh doesn't play complementary football for quarterbacks a lot of the time. Like he did with Kaepernick, but Herbert, what do you have, 24 touchdowns last season? The picks were down until the playoffs, but the yardage and the touchdowns were way down. Now, part of that is they only had Ladd McConkey, didn't have Keenan Allen or Mike Williams anymore. So obviously now with Trey Harris adding to the mix, who I think is one of the more underrated players in the draft, he definitely has an argument. Why is JJ's name on this list? So JJ's name, and then I'll get to the CJ point because a lot of people are asking where is CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is a legitimate MVP candidate. This is more like dark horse. Like I would consider CJ top 10 if we're like voting going into the year because Texans probably win the division and that gives him a good shot if he has a good season. And he was top six like 2 seasons ago. So that's why CJ's not on this list. Now, JJ McCarthy's on this list because he has the easiest job in the world. You know what I mean? Like easiest job in the world. Sam Darnold almost like was an MVP candidate last year. He was, right? Like because he's throwing to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, and Kevin O'Connell is an elite play caller. So like JJ's job, I didn't like JJ as a prospect personally, but if you're playing quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings with that abundance of talent around you, you're going to be an MVP candidate if you win 12 or 13 games. That's kind of how it goes. Winning matters, which is why a lot of this is contingent upon what they do. Like obviously Bryce Young can't be on this list if they don't win games. Caleb Williams can't be on this list if they don't win games. If the Raiders end up getting to the playoffs, absolutely Geno Smith will be an MVP candidate. Absolutely. Now that's a big ask because the Raiders have been in the playoffs in a long time since Carr had that MVP type year. I think in what was that? 19, 2020, 2019. Maybe it was 21. It was at least 4+ years ago. But I get those years mixed up with the whole COVID year and everything. So I don't know which year that was, but that was like Carr's last really good year. Um, and yeah, I mean Michael Penix Jr. That's fine. I get it, but like Michael Penix Jr. Yes, I like him. I like the Falcons' ability to probably win 10 or 11 games. But the issue is like I feel like JJ has a better supporting cast. Like obviously Michael Penix is throwing to Drake London, Mooney, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, who they don't use. But yeah, how do I feel about Kyler this year? Kyler's a weird player, guys. Like I said, I mean, I think it's a matter of like focus and locking in. Because sometimes he looks like a top three quarterback, and other times he looks like the worst quarterback in football. And it's like it feels like there's no in between for him half the time. And that's my problem always with the Cardinals. I think they improved at whatever you call it, defense with Will Johnson, obviously off the edge too. Um, with Walter Nolan. He's going to be play DT, but they also got Josh Sweat, I believe, right? So I think they have a chance. I think anybody in that division has a chance. I personally think the Niners will win the division, but or the Rams, but Seahawks, Cardinals could all be good too. Quick Purdy explanation, please. Well, he finished top three in MVP or top four in MVP voting. I think Dak finished ahead of him 2 years ago. And he would have won the MVP if he didn't throw those three picks against the Ravens. And I think San Francisco has the easiest schedule in football. I know that. I don't just think that. So if they win 11 plus games, he's absolutely going to be in the conversation. He also had the seventh best QBR last season with everyone hurt. And I think San Francisco does have a defense. Everyone is so. I hate the notion of like I personally, I think if you guys have followed this page, you know by this point, I'm not afraid to say my takes. Like I have different takes. I'm fine with that. Some people will be like, you don't know ball, whatever, like Commanders missing the playoffs, all that stuff. I'm not gonna just say the sexy take that everyone says on TV every day. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, the Commanders, of course they're gonna make the Super Bowl because they made the NFC. That's not how it works. Five teams missed the playoffs from the previous year in the National Football League. Like that don't make it the next year. I think the Commanders' defense is still a flaw, right? So my argument with the Niners' defense is, yeah, Dre Greenlaw never plays. Hufanga never plays. And they added CJ West, the most underrated D tackle in the class. Mikel Williams, I don't love. I know you guys know my thoughts on that, but he's at least a very good run defender at the edge position. You had Alfred Collins who stops the run. You get Upton Stout in Marquise Single who can stop the run, from the DB positions, nickel, safety, whatever, and they have Robert Saleh back. So like saying their defense is going to be bad is honestly idiotic. Like hospital, mental hospital type of thing. Like they're going to be top 5 in run defense. I can guarantee you that. So maybe their secondary because they lost Charvarius Ward is a little worse, and obviously Saleh works more with linebackers and edge rushers, similar to the Miko Ryan's esque. But I do think the Niners defense will be top tier. Let's see. And again, yeah, a lot of these takes, like these are dark horses. There's reasons why CJ Stroud isn't on this list, or Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson, or Joe Burrow, or even Jared Goff, or even I included Jordan Love, but that kind of seems like he could be a top 10 guy too, depending on that. What the Packers do. I personally think the Packers inevitably have a bad year because at some point they have to. Like they just make the playoffs every year, it seems like. And I just saw a lot of red flags in the second half of last season. Bo Nix, I think, that's a solid argument. I just don't think he has the offensive weapons still on that team to do that. Like he's a very similar quarterback to Purdy, but the difference is San Francisco has way better weapons than Denver. The Broncos defense is incredible though. So even though I think they'll have a down year, their schedule's harder. I like that division way more, especially with Pete Carroll going to the Raiders. But they could absolutely win 10 or 11 games with that defense. I just think their offense is bound to take a step back. You still have Cortland Sutton and then a bunch of like guys you'd be seeing at on the street playing pickup basketball. Like how are half these guys in the NFL? Besides Marvin Mims, like they never use Troy Franklin, which is stupid. Sean Payton, by the way, is a Drew Brees merchant. I like Sean Payton. I think he's a good coach, but he's not a Hall of Fame coach like we think he is. Drew Brees threw like 55, 60 touchdowns the year he was in New Orleans, like a few years in New Orleans, and he won one Super Bowl. Maybe they win a second one, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know why he doesn't play Franklin. I don't care. He dropped. I mean, his separation numbers are off the charts. It's very Dontavian Wicks esque. Like, he didn't have the dropping problem in college. I just think he needs to get into a rhythm. Can you explain the JJ take? Well, he's the easiest job in the world, right? He's throwing to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson. It's very easy to, be an MVP candidate because, the fact of the matter is the Vikings still have one of the best rosters in football. Like, I can't see them winning less than 10 games. I really can't, even in that division. Who's going to get more sacks next year, Van Ginkel or Grenard? Grenard. Grenard's the most underrated edge rusher in the league. Like I think like best contracted football, in my opinion. Best contracted football. Like this dude consistently puts up top tier pressure, top tier edge rusher, sacks, any type of statistic. Let's see. You're funny with Dak Prescott up there. I mean, it was Dak's problem is not a regular season problem. It's the playoffs that he's not great in, right? And that the team shrinks in. Dak Prescott's one of the best regular season players at quarterback in the last decade. Like he just puts up all of these great seasons, but none of it matters because they always choke in the playoffs. Remember, MVP is a regular season award. Like if we're talking like, oh, Super Bowl MVP, dark horses, like there's no way you'd have to put a gun to my head to say the Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. Like you know what I mean? Yeah, bro was second in MVP voting 2 years ago. Exactly. Like Dak Prescott is a solid quarterback. He just hasn't been able to show up in the playoffs, and a lot of that is coaching. A lot of that was the defense as well that gave up a bazillion points to Jordan Love in the Green Bay Packers. And then, yes, the offensive scheme was horrible against the Niners, the two losses previous. Do I think the Seahawks will win the division? No, I don't think so. I think they're good. I think the Seahawks. They win 8, 9, 10 games every year. So it's hard for me to say they'll win less than 8 games. I like Mike McDonald. It's just such a hard division. Like, just thinking the Niners are just going to lay down and win 6 games again is ridiculous. Like when they had injuries and they have the easiest schedule in all of football. You know what I mean? And then that gives the Cardinals. So you're like, okay, if the Seahawks are going to be good, then the Cardinals have to be very bad because the Niners and Rams are good, right? So I don't know. I think 3 teams could make the playoffs from that division, but it's probably the NFC North, and then one of those Seahawks, Rams, Niners teams probably gets left out on the wild card position. Love the Brock Purdy take. He gets way too much hate. Yeah, dude, I like Brock Purdy. I think he's one of the best. If you watch his tape strictly, he's one of the best processors in football. He takes a lot of risks and he's small. So that's where a lot of people are like, that's why he was a seventh round pick, right? Because he's small, he takes a lot of risks. But at the end of the day, like he's a really good quarterback. Like you watch the tape and his processing's off the charts. Yes, he has a lot of help, but that's most quarterbacks. There's only like 2 or 3 or 4 that you could say can change a team even without help. Like even Jalen Hurts isn't like that good if you put him on the Jets. You know what I mean? Like like he's a great quarterback, but he also benefits tremendously from having 2 wide receiver ones, the best running back in football, the best offensive line in football, and a solid tight end every year. You know what I mean? So to me, I always get like it's only happens to Brock Purdy, which is weird, where we're like, oh, he has tons of help. I do have Niner fan bias, 100%. And I used to be more out on Brock Purdy, but then I started watching more and more of his tape and rewatching some of those games, and I like his tape a lot, you know. Same thing with Dak. Like I used to be a very like I'm we got to stop and I'm gonna you guys don't have to take my advice. You don't have to listen to me. You can think I'm an idiot or read whatever. I don't care. My advice to you guys is what's changed my life and my perspective about sports is I don't listen to that stupid shit on TV every day, bro. With the same lazy take that's so popular, like Dak's a fucking choker, Dak's this, Brock Purdy sucks, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. Niners are going to be bad just because they had 6 wins last year when there were a ton of factors there. Assuming the Commanders and Rams will be good because they made the playoffs last year. The Rams have an argument. The Commanders still, they were 28th against the run. I look at statistics, I look at tape, I look at metrics, and I look at trends in history. And the problem is with these people every day on TV is they'll just give you a take, like a very lazy take, and it all gets reciprocated and put into this echo chamber on X, on TikTok, on all this stuff. And to me, it's ridiculous when you go in and watch tape, your mind changes about viewing the game of football. And that's what I'm just encouraging you guys to do. Like, don't listen to these idiots every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, would I want to be on TV up there eventually? Of course, but I would never, buy into that bullshit about just saying that popular take every day. Colin Coward is very respected, but that take about the Niners finishing last, absolutely ridiculous. Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? They're not finishing last with the easy schedule unless they're all hurt again. Slim possibility. That's why Bo Nix is winning MVP. I like Bo Nix, bro. He's a winner. Like, there's some things you can't quantify. You look at the tape, like he processes well. He, has a good enough arm, obviously, to get it to Marvin Mims downfield. He has a lot of similar things to Brock Purdy. They're very similar quarterbacks. They can use their legs a little bit. Bo's obviously a better runner than Brock Purdy, but Purdy's a little undervalued as a runner too. You'd probably change, just put Jordan Love at 4. I just think it's time that, like, I've been watching a lot of Packers games, and I just don't know how they keep winning these close games. Like, they get so lucky with some of these games. Part of it is coaching, like, they're out coaching teams. Like, LaFleur's defenses are always pretty good. I think LaFleur is getting figured out on offense, though, a lot of the time. Like, if for whatever reason he stopped scheming up Jaden Reed on jet sweeps and getting him on quick slants, which is working earlier in the season against the Eagles and against teams like that. Then all of a sudden, in the second half of the season, he's trying to get the ball downfield to Christian Watson, and Love is throwing 4 or 5 picks. And then the Eagles game, you rush Jacobs like 45 times when you have guys that can get open on slants and on little post routes. I just don't understand his offensive scheme that much anymore. And that's why I'm kind of down on Love and the Packers. It's not Love's talent. Like, I think Love's arm talent and his ability is off the charts. I think it's more of a Matt LaFleur thing. Like, I'm starting to think like he's more and more getting figured out by defensive coordinators. And that can happen with guys that call plays, right? JJ on here, but Bo isn't is absolutely crazy. Well, I feel like there's a lot of people that might have Bo as like an MVP candidate. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they had 11 wins last year, right? Like the defense improved. Like he had a really good rookie year. It felt like really obvious that he's certainly an MVP candidate if they win 11 games again, right? Like it's the same thing with Herbert. Like even though Harbaugh doesn't put him in a great position, like if the Chargers win 11, 12 games, like Herbert's probably a candidate, right? That goes for a lot of these good teams, right? That's why like Kyler's on this list. Like if the Cardinals end up winning the division and Kyler has a good year, he obviously has the rushing metrics. He has the weapons now that he can be good. How is Drake Maydon on here? I just don't see like I see a floor with the Patriots. Like the Patriots are very good now with their roster, but are we talking like 10 wins good? I don't think so. I still think it's like 7, 8 wins. I think that's their ceiling is 8 wins. Like I think they win between 6 and 8. I think their floor is 6. I think they have a high floor because of the talent they added. But I just think that May is excellent. May is one of my favorite young players in the league, but I just don't think he's going to get a single vote for it. Let's see. I'm telling you, Dak is good, y'all. What's your question, Logan? Dak is good in the regular season, by the way. I know we got more questions too. I'll answer some of those. Tua MVP season, Logan. I don't know, man. I'm scared about Tua's health. Why is Caleb above Love? Simply because I think the Bears have a better season than the Packers. I know it's probably, I'm just looking at it from pure football, not like the Bears' history. Like the Bears always suck, right? Quote unquote. But like, I like Ben Johnson a lot as an OC. I think he's going to be an excellent play caller. And you look at what they added on the offensive line, obviously with on a wide receiver with LB3, and then at tight end with Colston Loveland. And then they're going to sign a running back at some point. It's probably Nick Chubb. I'm not saying he's still good, but like you can't expect DeAndre Swift to be a 3 down back anymore. The defense got better. I don't know. I like what they did more than the Packers getting Aaron Banks, who, by the way, Aaron Banks fucking sucks. Like I don't know how he got 77 million. Like as a Niner, like you watch it, he doesn't suck. He's like mid, extremely mid, and I just don't know why they gave a guard $77 million. I know not all of it is guaranteed, but it was still a bad signing. I hated the Belton pick in round two. Like there was no point in drafting Anthony Belton in round two. I just didn't like their draft. You guys know my thoughts on Matt Golden. I think he's good, but I don't think he's a wide receiver one. So I just don't know why they didn't go Will Johnson or, Malachi Starks with that pick at 23 instead of Golden. It's an unpopular take. People love Golden. He might prove me wrong. I think he's more of a wide receiver two than a wide receiver one. But Buffalo Bills. Well, Allen is the clear favorite. These are dark horses. No JD5. Wow. Yes, because these are dark horse MVP candidates. JD5 is probably top three in MVP voting for next season, like MVP predictions and odds. And same with Stroud. Like everyone's saying Stroud, like the Texans are going to win that division, right? So like he's a top 10 candidate. Yeah. And again, this will be available on YouTube if you've missed any of this. Yeah, no worries, dog. You're good. And whether you agree with me or not, I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate the discourse. I'd appreciate a follow and supporting my content on all my pages, not just TikTok. Trying to do more on YouTube and stuff like that as well. So make sure to sub there and follow me here too. Whether you like me or not, like you can hate my takes. You can hate in the comments. I don't care. You have a right to your opinion. I think that's where we get mistaken. Like everyone has a right to their opinion. There's no right or wrong answer. You know what I mean? I think that's where we get a little mistracked. It's just discourse at the end of the day, and we all love sports. That's what matters. Dak is good at what? He's a great regular season player. He's a good processor. I think Dak, he wins games in the regular season, gets the ball out quick. He has some running ability. He's a top 10 quarterback. Like, yes, his postseason struggles, like, sure, but this is a regular season award. D-Lock comeback of the year. I think so, man. I mean, if BTJ's putting up 200-yard games with Mac Jones, what do you think he's going to be doing with T-Law most of the year? And Travis Hunter now. I think the Jaguars win 8 or 9 games. I think they finish second in that division. Truly. Like, they could win the division, but I think they finished second. Houston just, they added too much. Like, Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel are off the charts good. Arante Ursary was a top 20 player in the class, in my opinion. I think he can be a true uh number one tackle. Like I really like him a lot. I know they lost Tunsil, whatever. He committed a lot of penalties. It's tough to replace, but I still think the Texans are easily the best team in that division. That's why they're dark horses, Bradley. None of these will ever happen. Stop convincing yourself. That's why these are dark horses. These aren't like my MVP predictions. Let's see. What are your thoughts on Bryce Young? I like Bryce Young a lot. We'll see if he can develop. His tape in the second half of last season was incredible. And I always was in on Bryce Young. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Before the draft, I said that Bryce Young should be the number one pick and CJ Stroud should be the second overall pick. Was I wrong? I guess we'll see. I guess right now you would say I was wrong with that evaluation. But Bryce Young at Alabama, despite his size, the dude diced up SEC defenses 2 years in a row. Like, and we started to see that finally at the NFL level with his processing ability, his ability to get the ball out quick, use his eyes to distract defenses. Like, he wasn't doing that. I think he was a little domed up in his first year and a half. So he definitely improved a lot. He was great at Alabama. You kind of knew the talent was always there. He was always going to be small, but again, not every quarterback 6'5". Like you could have Tyler Shuck sucks, but he's 6'5", 240. Like you don't have to be 6'5" to play quarterback. Dark horse is more like long shots to win MVP. Yeah, and I just made a video about it too earlier today, so make sure you check that out. My Ricky Pearsall video that just came back. Again, it's Jake that just came on. I was talking about CJ a few minutes ago, and I was saying like the Texans are expected to win the division, right? Like they added Jay Higgins, they added Jalen Noel, Arante Ursary is a top 20 player from the draft. My OT2 from the draft, I had him over Will Campbell, which was like a crazy take, but I like Ursary a lot. So I think CJ is easily like top 10 in odds going into next season for a comeback year. That's why he's not on here. First one should not. Dude, Brock Purdy's good. Brock Purdy's legit. So Derek Carr is getting MVP. Come on, he's not even gonna play. Tyler Shuck's gonna play. JJ hasn't even played. How can you rank him? Well, because that system, it's so easy to play quarterback. Like you have Jordan Addison, you have Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson. Like Sam Darnold was so good last year. I didn't like JJ as a prospect, but he's in the best system possible. Super easy to be good in that system. The Vikings roster is still deep, top to bottom. So yeah. Thoughts on Cam Ward? I like Cam Ward, but he's not an MVP candidate in year one. Like I think the Titans are just too far away as a football team for him to do that. Like if they won 10 or 11 games, like cool. I think Cam Ward's probably going to throw a lot of picks. Um, like this year probably. He has Ridley, Alec Ayuman, a few other guys, DK, a lot of those guys. I think that's how you pronounce it, DK, right? I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but his last name is Dike, not DK Metcalf, but the guy they got from Florida. They have some guys, but like I just think the team is so far away, personally. What's your opinion on Caleb Williams? I think he's good, bro. Like, to be honest, bro, I don't know why anyone gives. I know people are like, oh, he's zesty or whatever. Like, Cat and the Knicks are up 2-0. I don't give a fuck. I care about how you play football. I don't care about how you are, like, how zesty you act. Like, Caleb Williams is an excellent football player who had a horrible offensive coordinator and a horrible coach last year. Now, did he hold the ball too long last year? Absolutely, but what does Ben Johnson ask from his quarterbacks? They have to get the ball out quickly and they play behind a good O line and they run a lot, which opens up play action. Caleb, talent wise, is 10 times more talented than Jared Goff. It's going to be about you can't do all the shit he did at USC where he was extending plays and, you know, hitting guys down. Like that doesn't work in the NFL. You got to get the ball out quick. So as long as he doesn't take sacks, he'll be an MVP candidate because the team will win many more games. Daniels is really good, but only good at the end of games. So no, I mean Daniels is really good, but he's top three in odds. How is Geno going to do anything with that wide receiver group? Hey, don't sleep on Jack Besh. Jacoby Myers, by the way, one of the more underrated wide receivers in football. He has Brock Bowers. He has Jack Besh from TCU and LSU. People forget he was the leading receptions leader at LSU in 2021 with Malik Neighbors and BTJ on the roster. So this is before he transferred. Like Jack Besh is the real deal. And I like Dante Thornton too. Where's Kyle Trask? Hey, that's a ball knower right there, Zeke Matthews. I'm pissed Kyle Trask never got an opportunity, man. I like Kyle Trask. I really do. I mean, he was excellent at Florida that final year that he was a Heisman candidate. And then he never really got the chance because, obviously Brady, then Baker. How many games has he started? One? Like, I mean, it sucks. It sucks that he wasn't able to get his opportunity. So I appreciate that. I know it was a joke, but I appreciate the Kyle Trask mention. Well, I know Dak is a dark horse. Well, I don't think many people expect the Cowboys to be good. And that's kind of like the projections, right? The reason why I don't include a guy like Bo Nix or a guy like Jaden Daniels is like people expect them to be good, right? So they're not dark horses. Dak gets a lot of hate. The Cowboys, I feel like, because of their brand, get a lot of hate. And their fans, like a lot of the fans from the Cowboys are, for lack of better words, I wouldn't say delusional, but like they get hyped every year, and it's like the Cowboys always screw them over and do nothing in the playoffs. But from a regular season perspective, Dak is excellent, top tier. Yeah. No Drake May. No, I just don't think the Patriots will win enough games next year. Why Geno at four? I think Geno is a real shot if they make the playoffs. Geno throws a lot of picks, and I don't love his decision making half the time. But if we're talking like pure gunslinger, like arm talent, like Geno is legit. Like 4,500 yards last year, pretty much 25, 30 touchdowns. Like this is like every year. Bijan on here, but not Barkley. Yeah. Well, I hope Barkley doesn't get hurt, but every touch leader from the year previous has not finished as a top 15 running back in fantasy for the past 6, 7 years. That's Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor. You go down the list. So Barkley's odds are against him to get hurt. I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays healthy. But historically, like they got to limit his usage next year because he had so many carries last season. Yeah. Anyways, y'all, this is gonna be up on YouTube. I appreciate all you guys. I love all you guys. Please give me a follow, whether you agree with me or not. I know there's a lot of people that are like, never rank again, you suck, blah blah blah. I see the DMs. It's all good. I love all you guys regardless. This will be up on YouTube too. So if you don't watch the full thing, full 40 minutes, go on YouTube, subscribe there. Got a lot of good content coming there. I love all of you guys. Have a blessed day. I appreciate you.